Alright guys, now we're getting to the part where it deals with herbs, and this is page 39. Herbs is one of a skill that you really need to kind of connect with in the craft. You don't need to be best at it, you just need to understand it. When it comes to herbs, it's all about how you jar them, it's all about how you store them, it's all about how you respectively use them and work with them, and how you guys can communicate with one another. I like to contain most of my herbs, almost all of my herbs are in baby jars because I'm a solitary, so I don't need a big giant mason jar or a big giant freaking cookie jar full of lavender, which I would love, but make sure that when you store your herbs, make sure that they are not expired, they're not old, because certain herbs kind of die out. Most dry herbs kind of last for a moment, but certain herbs don't. So make sure you kind of freshen it up a little bit. Don't overly excessively buy herbs just because you need that batch. Buy what you need or what you're going to use, and the longevity of it. Don't just buy like 6 pounds of lavender if you're just going to use 1 little ounce once a year. Common sense there. Anyways, once you get your herbs, it's a good time for figuring out mixtures. It's a good time to figure out a recipe for herbs and figure out how many parts is what. Parts, when you read in certain books and it says 1 part of, 2 parts of, 3 parts of, those are pretty much the measurements of what you're going to use. So if you're in a bigger coven and you need to make a little mojo bags for everyone, it's 1 part, so you're probably going to use 1 cup, 1 part. And you got to clarify that cup as 1 part. And the other half, like if it says half of a part, then it's half a cup. For me, I use parts as pinches or 3-finger rule. That's 1 part, 2 part for me, because I'm solitary. So that would be good advice for you guys. Proc that in your Book of Shadows are in your head. So once you get your herbs together, it's about to charge them. I like to use a wooden bowl because it's natural. It's close to what earth is, and earth and herbs are sisters. I like to use a wooden bowl versus a glass bowl. So with my wooden bowl, I have my herbs in there, and I kind of put my hands over it and I charge and infuse it with what I really want. And here she's talking about, gather the amount of herbs is necessary for your current efforts and place them in the dish. Hold them over until you feel the energy. I like to put my fingers through it and feel it out, but some people like to put their hands over it and feel, like she says in here, feel a warm, tingling sensation. You will. Concentrate on your magical intent. Scoop some herbs and rub it between your hands. Allow the energy to mix and everything. Continue with the herbs with your hands and chant something that deals with it, like yourself, like herb of pure serenity, bring me peace and calm to me. You could just keep doing this until you feel like you're satisfied with your intention. Repeat the process and everything. Some people that I've seen and witnessed takes each herb separately and rub them in their hands, and then when they mix together, they bring it together. It's kind of like parts of a music in a band, in a play. So they take parts separately, infuse them what you want, and then put them together and fuse them together. That's a complicated process, and I don't know if I could do that personally. So that being said, there is certain ways that you can use herbs. If you're working with loose herbs, loose incense, burning is one way. You need charcoal disc. I advise to get tongs. It comes with a hookah lounge or something that mostly carries them, but it comes with a little kit comes with a little tong that holds the disc just right, the burning disc, plus a little spoon to kind of pour in your herbs. It's a safe way. I've seen people use scissors, and that was the worst thing I ever witnessed in my life. And so scissors end up cutting the whole thing. If all else fails, use a cooking tongs, or barbecue tongs. Just use those. You do not want to hold it. If you're a newbie to charcoals, you don't want to hold it because when you ignite the charcoal, the whole thing burns within seconds. So I don't know if you want to hold a hot charcoal in your finger. But if you're smart and really quick and safe, that you can burn it and then put it down and call it good, then you'll be okay. Carrying them, which I have plenty of times, carrying a little herbs, I would advise to use a little a tea bag or a sachet or a mojo bag to carry herbs, because you don't want to scatter all in your pockets when you're pulling out change. And people are like, what the hell, is that weed? First instance. It happened. Experience. Growing them is the best way. I've been growing. I can see him right now. Henry, my lavender plant, which I'm about to transplant him into a pot because he needs to be in a pot. He's getting too big for me. Growing the herbs is the best way because you actually know where it's coming from. You talking to them, and it's on supply, and it's ultimately free for you. But if you're going to be doing a green thumb thing, I advise you getting certain books that can help you grow certain plants and have a grid of what plants can grow. Because when I had my mint plant, oh my god, I did not know mint can grow across the whole freaking, grow across everything, and I was so deathly scared that it was going to take over my lavender plant. So lesson learned here. Infusing them, like I said, infusing them is, in fact, is a pretty good way. You basically take it and turn it into a liquid form. You basically cook it in a way. You cook it in, and right here would be good. See, in fact, it's infused, and all the power changes the plant into liquid form. This opens windows of opportunity. You can use them as washing, cleaning houses, rinsing your hair with them, add them to rinse of cycle laundry, or even drink them as tea. Use in oil form. We can infuse and anoint candles, rituals, tools, and everything else, even including ourselves. So there's many methods out there that you can use oils, herbs to oils, and soak in them. There's many ways. Go research it. Powdering is when you actually shred the crap out of it. Coffee grinders are amazing for such thing. Remember, just like what Tiptoe Chick, which is very rare for me to quote her, when you see Tiptoe Chick's video about grinding up your herbs, making your own incense, tap, 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 and she's right, because if you have resin in there, if you have hard, not dragon's blood, but more like frankincense or myrrh, when those are really hard resin gums, it can bust the machine. So tap, tap, tap. So when you do that, you basically powder it. I like to add talcum powder with it and mix in it because it's easy, and you can use it as a carpet freshener. You can use it underneath your bed to infuse certain spells. You can actually use it around your house. When I use it around my house, I use salt with it, kind of powder it up together, because the salt kind of helps increase the quantity of it. And also it's a good thing. Seeding, when change is necessary, throw a couple of herb seeds into the wind and concentrating desires for results. This transformation would come as a seed begin to sprout. And be cautious, because you don't want a whole bunch of plants, wild plants, all around your house, and you're like, this is not what I want. So yeah. Basic herb list, and this is the herb list that you guys should have in your kitchen, of all else, in most kitchens, or in a kitchenery section in your grocery store that you can get. You got bay leaf, chamomile, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, lavender, mugwort, nutmeg, and sage. Those are really basics. I would advise those are the ones you want to pick out first, so you can actually get a grasp on and work with one herb at a time. Don't go out and buy all these because it's on the list. Buy one at a time and work with it. There's nothing wrong with working with just nothing but bay leaf or chamomile or lavender. I was that kid that I only worked with just only lavender, and I still kind of am. I don't really go out of lavender. Flowers, which is kind of what I kind of avoid as much as possible, having allergies and everything. Trees, I avoid certain trees because the fact is, like, anything that's cedar, every time I'm around cedar, I kind of get the itchies. So I kind of avoid certain, like, piney stuff. But in the list, look it up. The next will be stones. That's be the next video, which is my weakness. I suck at it. So till then, thank you for watching and subscribing like always. Let's be.